about the things that keep me up at night. I think that my books feel very timely because people worry about the exact same things that I worry about.
So do you start these books with quite strong opinions then about the issues that you're talking about?
Yes, I do. And that's okay because part of the job for me is to hear the other side. And really that's what I hope for as an author. I hope that I can get you to listen to the other side, maybe for the first time in your life. You may not change your mind, that's okay. I think having the discussion is what's really important. It's when I say, I'm right and you're wrong, that we start to get into trouble.
Hello Doctor and my fellow classmates. Today my teammates Balin Ann, Leelavati Devi, Yasmita and I, Grace Pravina, will be presenting on the author Jodi Picoult. While I'm listing out the content, you can read a quote stated by Jodi Picoult, which we have included in this particular slide. Okay, so for this presentation, we'll be talking about the biodata of the literary figure, why is she famous in her particular genre, example of her works and review of the work.
A very good day to everyone watching our presentation right now. I am Leelavati Devi and my matrix number is D20182085-612. And today I'll be presenting on the biodata of the literary figure who has been chosen for this assignment, who is Jodi Picoult. So Jodi Picoult was born on 9th May 1966 in Long Island, New York. She lived in a development area called the Storybook for about 13 years. She thinks that it might have been a self-fulfilling prophecy that she ended up as a writer. Her first story was titled The Lobster Which Misunderstood, which was written when she was about only 5 years old. When she was 13, her family moved to New Hampshire, where many of her stories are set. She also read Gone with the Wind, written by Margaret Mitchell in 1936, and memorized all the passages from the story, which inspired her to become a writer. In her words, she also said, "Create worlds out of words." Jodi Picoult studied creative writing at Princeton University. While studying, she published 2 stories in a magazine called 17. In 1987, she graduated from Princeton University and had several jobs. Her jobs were such as including technical writing, copywriting, teaching 8th grade English, and also editing textbooks before she decided to pursue her master's degree in education at Harvard University. After graduation, she also wrote 5 issues of Wonder Woman for the well-known DC Comics. Moving on to the next slide. Then, after her graduation and DC Comics, she married Timothy Warren Van Leer and wrote her first novel titled Songs of the Humpbacked Whale while she was pregnant with her first child. So, Timothy Warren and Jodi Picoult have 3 children named Samantha, Kylie, and Jake. So, other than that, Jodi Picoult also has honorary Doctor of Letters degree from Dartmouth College and the University of New Haven. Other than her education, she also, in writing, she's also involved with many charitable organizations such as Writers' Council for the National Writing Project, New Hampshire Coalition Against the Death Penalty, Positive Tracks or Children's Hospital at Dartmouth, and also she's the founder of a teen theatre group called Trumbull Hall Troupe. That's all from me. Moving on to the next group member. Thank you.
A very good day everyone. I'm Yasmita Silvadas and I'll be continuing with the presentation. Jodi Picoult, whose books have sold 33 million copies worldwide, defines her works. She's known for writing about emotional, challenging, and even controversial topics in her contemporary fiction. So, how did an author who writes on contentious themes become so well known? After researching about Jodi Picoult, we found out that one of her many strengths is in the research of the books she wrote. She experienced the real-life situation before and also while writing her books to give more impact to her stories. Other than her unique strengths, she has received several awards for her writing skills. Firstly, she is a recipient of Hale Award in 2019. The Sarah Josepha Hale Award, also called Hale Award, was given in recognition of a distinguished body of work in literature and letters. She also received New England Bookseller Award for Fiction, NH Literary Award for Outstanding Literary Merit, a Lex Awards from YALSA, and a Lifetime Achievement Award for Mainstream Fiction from the Romance Writers of America.
Apart from that,
Jodi Picoult was also ranked in the top 10 of Princeton's 25 most influential living alumni. She is famous for her stories that have been made into movies. 4 of her novels which are made into movies are The Plain Truth,
The Pact,
Salem Falls, and The 10th Circle.
moreover, her books
Books are in demand in the world market as most of her books have been translated into 34 languages in 35 countries. Jodi Picoult's
editor,
Emily Bessler said that the various kind of subject Picoult chose to write on is the main reason she became popular among the readers. She took the risk of writing on topics that are hard to write on, and her readers loved it at first glance. She writes on controversial issues and makes her characters stand out amazingly.
Picoult said, because that's what
What's more interesting for me to write, the act of writing, is the act of trying to understand why my opinion is what it is. And ultimately, I think that's the same experience the reader has when they pick up one of my books.
it is incredible that there
There are around 28 New York Times best-selling novels by Jodi Picoult. My friend Berlin will be explaining further on Jodi Picoult's works and the review of her works. Thank you.
Hello and good day everyone. My name is Berlin and Paul and my matrix number is D2018-208-5621. So today I'll be explaining about the example work of Jodi Picoult, and so there are 28 New York Times best-selling novels by Jodi Picoult, and these are some of it. The first one would be Wish You Were Here, The Book of Two Ways, A Spark of Light, Small Great Things, Living Time, The Storyteller, Lone Wolf, Sing You Home, House Rules, Handle with Care, Change of Heart, My Sister's Keeper, and with daughter Samantha Van Leer, 2 young adult novels which were Between the Lines and Off the Page. So her books have been translated into 34 languages in 35 countries, and also there are 4 different novels that have been made into television movies, which are The Pact, Plain Truth, The 10th Circle, and also Salem Falls. So now let's move on to the review of the work. I'm sure that all of you would like to listen to a few reviews written by Jodi Picoult's fans. Here you go. So now let's start off with the reviews. So one of Jodi Picoult's fans said, I love the fact that she tackles some really tough topics and her character development is amazing. You just fall in love with her characters. She's an incredible storyteller. And then next, a girl named Buckleback said, they're just so interesting. They really make you think about things that you haven't normally thought about. And then finally, another fan said, I like the fact that there's so much research that goes into her books. It's not just that she's a good storyteller. You learn something every time you read one of her books. And to add another information about Jodi Picoult, she respects her fans so much that she replies to each and every email she receives from them. And that is up to 200 emails per day. She believes that it isn't to bring back her fans to her, but to understand their point of view. It gives her a bigger picture of her own story. And she said, I think the reason these readers come back to me is because I represent their point of views, says Picoult. It may not be my point of view, but that's okay. Everyone still deserves to have their say. I always look at it sort of like the facets of a diamond. You've got to illuminate each one and then let the reader decide what's the brightest one and why. My job isn't to tell them which is the brightest one, it's just to illuminate every single facet. So that is all from me. Thank you.
It definitely changed me.
You're going to be surprised at how you feel.
Because it makes you examine social issues in a different way.
She's pushing you to think harder about the way you feel.
It was just amazing. When I finished it, you don't even know how to describe it to someone else.
When I finished reading it, my first thing was just wow. No other words but wow.
It's not one of those books where you're just going to just read and at the end of the book you put it down and you forget about it.
Something that still stays with me after I finish the book is the injustice.
We've come so far, but perhaps we really haven't come so far. And it is clearly an important conversation that we all need to have.
This book will really start people not being so fearful about discussing race as we live today and being able to have a conversation without having an argument.
I think that it's a really good conversation starter. It should make an excellent book club read. It will really, I think, change the way people think about their attitudes.
And it's just going to wow you when you get to the end.
These are the references that we use to find out information about Jodi Picoult. If you want to find out more information about her, feel free to visit these websites. Before we end the presentation, I would like to read out a quote by Jodi Picoult, which is liked by all of us. I woke up one morning thinking about wolves and realized that wolf packs function as families. Everyone has a role, and if you act within the parameters of your role, the whole pack succeeds. And when that falls apart, so does the pack. So that's all from us. Thank you.
I really hope that when my readers read Small Great Things, they have the same experience that I did. They learn about themselves, they learn about how to make small changes that could make this world a slightly better place.